Ethan Walker thought he had it all figured out. A picture-perfect wedding, a pristine reputation, and a future mapped out by his powerful father's careful hand. But when two toddlers crashed down the aisle calling him daddy, everything he believed about his past shattered in an instant. The woman he'd loved and lost stood at the altar's edge, holding the secret his family had buried for 3 years, twin children he never knew existed. What followed was a collision of lies, manipulation, and a love that refused to stay silent. This is the story of a man who had to choose between the life he was given and the family he was denied. If you're watching this, subscribe and tell me in the comments, have you ever had to fight for a second chance you thought was gone forever? The morning sun hung over Charleston like a golden promise. Ethan Walker stood in front of the tall mirror in the church's side room, his fingers working the black bow tie for the 3rd time. His best man, Marcus, leaned against the doorframe with his arms crossed and a grin on his face. "You're going to strangle yourself before you even get to say I do," Marcus said. Ethan laughed, but his hands were shaking. "I just want it to be perfect." "It will be. Sophie's amazing. You're amazing. Stop worrying." Through the small window, Ethan could see guests arriving. Women in pastel dresses and wide-brimmed hats. Men in light suits, laughing and shaking hands. The garden venue looked like something out of a magazine. White chairs lined up in neat rows, flower arches covered in roses and jasmine, and strings of lights that would glow when the sun went down. This was it. The day he'd been planning for months. The day that would mark the beginning of his new life. His father appeared in the doorway, tall and imposing in his custom suit. Tom Walker had the kind of presence that made rooms go quiet. Money did that to a man. Power did that. "You ready, son?" Tom's voice was smooth, confident. "Yeah, Dad, I'm ready." Tom stepped closer and adjusted Ethan's collar, even though it didn't need adjusting. "You're doing the right thing. Sophie comes from a good family. This marriage will be good for business, good for your reputation. You're building something solid here." Ethan nodded, but something about the way his father said it made his stomach tighten, like this was a business deal, like love was just another asset to manage. "I love her, Dad," Ethan said quietly. "Of course you do." Tom clapped him on the shoulder. "Now let's get you married." The ceremony began right on time. The string quartet played softly as guests took their seats. Ethan walked down the aisle with his mother on his arm. She was smiling, her eyes misty, her hand squeezing his. She'd barely said a word all morning, but that was normal. His mother had learned long ago to let Tom do the talking. Ethan took his place at the altar. The minister gave him a reassuring nod. Marcus stood beside him, still grinning. Then the music changed. Everyone stood. Sophie appeared at the end of the aisle, and Ethan's breath caught. She looked beautiful, radiant in her white dress. Her blonde hair swept up, her smile soft and nervous. Her father walked beside her, proud and steady. Ethan felt his chest swell. This was real. This was happening. But then something shifted. A movement at the back of the garden caught his eye. A woman standing near the gate, half hidden by the rose trellis. She was holding the hands of 2 small children, toddlers, maybe 3 years old, a boy and a girl. Ethan's heart stuttered. The woman stepped forward slightly, and the sunlight hit her face. No, it couldn't be. Leah. His vision tunneled. The music faded. The guests, the flowers, Sophie, all of it blurred into the background. Leah Brooks. The woman he hadn't seen in over 3 years. The woman he'd fallen for so completely that it had scared him. The woman who'd disappeared without a word, leaving him broken and confused. And now she was here, at his wedding, with 2 children. Ethan tried to focus on Sophie as she reached the altar, but his hands were cold. His pulse was racing. Sophie took his hands. Her smile faltered when she saw his face. "Ethan," she whispered, "are you okay?" He forced a smile. "Yeah, I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. The minister began to speak. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." Ethan's eyes kept drifting to the back of the garden. Leah was still there, her face calm but her eyes locked on him. The little girl, curly hair, bright eyes, was tugging on her hand. The boy stood quietly beside her, watching everything with serious eyes. Ethan tried to focus, tried to listen to the minister's words, tried to look at Sophie, who deserved better than this. But then the little girl broke free. "Daddy!" The word cut through the air like a knife. The music stopped. Heads turned. The little girl toddled down the aisle, her small legs moving fast, her brother trailing behind her. She was smiling, her arms outstretched. "Daddy!" she called again, louder this time. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Sophie's hands went limp in Ethan's. Her eyes widened. "Ethan," she whispered. "What's happening?" He couldn't answer. He couldn't breathe. The little girl reached the altar and grabbed onto his leg, looking up at him with the kind of pure joy that only a child could have. The boy stood a few steps back, quieter, his eyes studying Ethan's face. Then Leah stepped forward. She moved with grace, even now, even in the middle of this chaos. She was still as beautiful as he remembered, maybe more. Her skin glowed in the sunlight. Her natural hair was pulled back in a simple style. She wore a blue dress, nothing fancy, and she carried herself with a quiet strength that made his heart ache. She stopped at the edge of the aisle. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice steady but soft. "I didn't want to do this, but they needed to know." "Know what?" Sophie's voice cracked. "Ethan, what is she talking about?" Leah looked at Ethan, and for a moment, the years between them collapsed. He saw everything in her eyes, the love, the pain, the truth. "They're yours, Ethan," she said. "Noah and Nora. They're your children." Sophie's bouquet hit the ground. The world tilted. The garden exploded into whispers. Guests turned to each other, mouths open, eyes wide. Cameras clicked. Someone gasped. Someone else laughed nervously. Sophie took a step back, her face white. "This isn't real. This isn't happening." "Sophie!" Ethan reached for her, but she pulled away. "Don't." Her voice broke. "Don't touch me." Tom Walker appeared from the front row, his face red. "What the hell is this? Who let her in here?" Leah didn't flinch. She bent down and gently took Nora's hand. "Come on, baby." "No." Nora pulled away and clung to Ethan's leg again. "Daddy." Tom snapped his fingers at the security guard near the gate. "Get her out of here. Now." "Stop." Ethan's voice came out louder than he intended. Everyone went quiet. He looked at his father. "Don't." Tom's jaw tightened. "Ethan, think about what you're doing." "I am thinking." Ethan knelt down slowly, his eyes on the little girl holding his leg. Up close he could see it, the shape of her nose, the curve of her smile. She had his eyes. So did the boy. His chest hurt. "Hi," he said softly. Nora grinned. "Hi, Daddy." Behind him, Sophie made a sound like a sob. He heard her heels on the stone path, fast and uneven. Then Marcus was there, murmuring something, trying to calm her down. Ethan stood. His legs felt weak. He looked at Leah. "We need to talk," he said. She nodded. "Yes, we do." "Not here." "No, not here." Leah gathered the children. Noah came to her easily. Nora more reluctantly. She didn't look at the guests, didn't acknowledge the stares or the whispers. She just turned and walked back toward the gate, her head high, her steps sure. Ethan followed. Behind him the garden erupted. Voices overlapped, angry, confused, shocked. His mother called his name. His father shouted something. Sophie was crying, but Ethan kept walking. He had to know the truth. Leah's car was parked just outside the gate, a small sedan, practical and worn. She opened the back door and started buckling the children into their car seats. Her hands were steady, but Ethan could see the tension in her shoulders. "Leah." She didn't look at him. "Not now." "What do you mean, not now? You just—" He stopped, his voice rising. He forced himself to breathe. "You just crashed my wedding and told me I have kids. You can't just leave." "I can." She finished buckling Noah and moved to Nora's side. "And I will." "Why didn't you tell me?" His voice cracked. "Why didn't you come to me 3 years ago?" Now she looked at him. Her eyes were fierce, hurt, angry. "I did." "What?" "I came to you." Her voice shook. "I found out I was pregnant and I came to you." "But your father told me you didn't want to see me. He said you'd moved on. He said—" She stopped, her jaw tight. "He gave me a letter. From you." "A letter?" "I never wrote you a letter. It had your name on it. It said you didn't want a future with me. It said to leave you alone." Ethan felt like he'd been punched. "I didn't write that. I believed it." Tears filled her eyes, but she blinked them back. "I believed you didn't want me, so I left. I raised them on my own." Thunder rumbled in the distance. The sky so bright just minutes ago was darkening. Rain was coming. "Leah, I swear." "I don't care what you swear." She slammed the car door and turned to face him fully. "I came here today because Noah and Nora kept asking about their father. They deserve to see you, to know you exist, that's all. I'm not here to ruin your life." "You didn't ruin my life." The words came out raw. "You were my life." She flinched. "I looked for you," he said. "For months. You disappeared. No forwarding address, no phone number, nothing. I thought—" He swallowed hard. "I thought you didn't want me." "I thought the same thing." They stood there in the parking lot, the wind picking up, the first drops of rain starting to fall. Inside the car, Nora pressed her face to the window, watching them. Noah sat quietly, his thumb in his mouth. "They're beautiful," Ethan said quietly. Leah's face softened, just a little. "Yeah, they are. Can I—" He stopped. "Can I see them, talk to them? I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I want to try." She studied him for a long moment. Then she shook her head. "Not today. You have a wedding to finish." "There's no wedding. Not anymore." "Ethan, I mean it. How could I go back in there after this?" The rain fell harder now, soaking through his shirt. Leah reached for the driver's door. "Wait," he said. "Please, just tell me where you are. Let me come see you. Let me—" His voice broke. "Let me know my kids." She hesitated. Then she pulled a card from her purse and handed it to him. "Brooks and Hearth. It's my restaurant, downtown." He looked at the card, then at her. "You opened a restaurant?" "I told you I would." A sad smile crossed her face. "I always keep my promises." She got in the car and started the engine. Ethan stood in the rain, watching as she drove away, the taillights disappearing into the storm. He looked down at the card in his hand. The ink was already smudging from the rain. Behind him he heard voices. Marcus appeared holding an umbrella. "Dude, what the hell just happened?" Ethan didn't answer. He just stood there staring at the card, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He had children, 2 of them, and the woman he'd never stopped loving had been raising them alone, believing he'd abandoned her. His father. The thought hit him like ice water. His father had done this. The Walker estate that evening was cold and silent. Sophie's family had left hours ago. Her mother in tears, her father furious, making vague threats about lawsuits and reputation. Sophie herself had locked herself in the guest room upstairs. She wouldn't talk to anyone, wouldn't even open the door. Ethan sat in the living room, still in his wet tuxedo shirt, staring at nothing. His mother hovered nearby, wringing her hands, but she didn't say anything. Tom stood by the window, a glass of whiskey in his hand. He looked calm, too calm. "You owe me an explanation," Ethan said. His voice was flat, empty. "I did what was necessary." Tom didn't turn around. "That girl was a distraction. You had a future ahead of you, a real future. She wasn't a distraction. I loved her. You were 29. You didn't know what love was. And you did?" Ethan stood, his fists clenched. "You wrote that letter, didn't you? You told her I didn't want her." Tom finally turned. His face was hard. "Yes, I did." The room went silent. Ethan's mother gasped softly, but she didn't move. She never did. "She was pregnant," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "She was carrying my children, and you sent her away. She would have dragged you down. She had nothing. No family, no money, no connections. You would have spent your life struggling, trying to make it work with someone who wasn't right for you. She was everything right for me. You were infatuated. That's not the same thing." Ethan took a step forward. His whole body was trembling. "You took 3 years from me, 3 years of their lives. I missed everything. Their first steps, their first words, their birthdays. I didn't even know they existed. I protected you. You destroyed me." The shout echoed through the house. His mother flinched. Tom's expression didn't change. "You'll see," Tom said calmly. "In time, you'll understand. I did this for you." Ethan laughed, but it was bitter, broken. "You did this for you because you always have to control everything, everyone." He walked toward the door. "Where are you going?" Tom's voice was sharp now. "To fix what you broke. Ethan, if you walk out that door—" "What?" Ethan spun around. "You'll cut me off? Disown me? Go ahead. I don't need your money. I don't need your approval. I don't need you." His mother stood. "Ethan, please." "I'm sorry, Mom." His voice softened. "But I can't stay here." He left the house without looking back. He drove through Charleston with no destination, the city lights blurring in the rain. His phone buzzed over and over, texts from Marcus, from Sophie, from people at the wedding. He ignored all of them. Finally, he pulled over near the harbor. The rain had stopped, but the air was heavy and damp. He got out and walked to the edge of the pier, staring out at the dark water. Leah's face filled his mind. The way she'd looked at him in the parking lot. Angry, hurt, but still strong, still her. And the kids. Noah and Nora, his children. He'd been so focused on building his career, on making his father proud, on doing everything right. And for what? He'd lost the one thing that actually mattered. He pulled out his phone and looked at the card she'd given him. Brooks and Hearth. He typed the address into his Maps app. It was only 10 minutes away. Before he could talk himself out of it, he started walking. The restaurant was small, tucked between a bookstore and a flower shop on a quiet street. The sign above the door was hand-painted, simple and warm. Through the window, he could see empty tables, chairs stacked, dim lights. But there was a light on in the back. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. The door opened a crack, and a woman peered out, younger than Leah, with short hair and bright eyes. "We're closed." "I'm looking for Leah." The woman's expression shifted. She looked him up and down, then called over her shoulder, "Leah, you've got a visitor." A moment later, Leah appeared. She'd changed into jeans and a t-shirt, her hair down now. She looked tired. When she saw him, she sighed. "Ethan, I know it's late, He stopped. "Can we talk, please?" She hesitated, then nodded. She stepped outside and closed the door behind her. They stood on the sidewalk, the streetlights casting long shadows. "I confronted my father," Ethan said. "He admitted everything. The letter, the money, all of it." Leah's eyes widened slightly. "He admitted it?" "Yeah, he thought he was protecting me, saving me from making a mistake." Ethan's voice was bitter. "He didn't care what it cost you. Or me. Or them." She wrapped her arms around herself. "I should have fought harder. I should have—" "No." He shook his head. "This wasn't your fault. It was his. And mine. Yours. I should have looked harder. I should have known something was wrong." He stepped closer. "Leah, I never stopped thinking about you. For 3 years, I wondered where you went. Why you left. I thought I'd done something wrong." Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought the same thing. I want to know them." His voice broke. "Noah and Nora. I want to be their father. I know I have no right to ask, and I know I can't just walk back into your life after everything, but—" He stopped, his chest tight. "Please, give me a chance." She looked at him for a long time, her expression unreadable. Then, quietly, she said, "They're asleep upstairs. Come back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. I'll let you meet them. Properly." Relief flooded through him. "Thank you." She nodded and turned to go back inside. "Leah?" She paused. "I meant what I said earlier. You were my life. You still are." She didn't answer. She just went inside and closed the door softly behind her. Ethan stood there for a long time, staring at the restaurant, at the warm light glowing in the upstairs window. Tomorrow he'd meet his children. Tomorrow he'd start making things right. But tonight he let himself feel the weight of everything he'd lost, and the small, fragile hope of everything he might still be able to find. Ethan didn't sleep that night. He went back to his apartment, a modern place downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows and furniture that cost too much. It had always felt empty, but tonight it felt like a tomb. He sat on the couch in the dark, still wearing his wrinkled tuxedo shirt, and stared at his phone. There were 43 messages. He scrolled through them without reading most of them. "Marcus, dude, call me. I'm worried about you." "Sophie, I can't believe you did this to me." His mother, "Please come home. We can work this out." His father, nothing. At 5 in the morning, he finally gave up on sleep. He showered, changed into jeans and a clean shirt, and made coffee he couldn't drink. His hands were shaking. What was he supposed to say to them? To 3-year-olds who didn't know him? What did you say to children who should have been yours from the start, but weren't because of lies and pride and control? At 6:30, he got in his car and drove to Brooks and Hearth. The city was waking up around him. Delivery trucks rumbled past. A few early joggers moved along the sidewalks. The sun was just starting to rise, painting everything in soft gold. He parked across the street from the restaurant and waited. At exactly 7 o'clock, the door opened. Leah stood there in an apron, flour dusting her hands. "You're here." "I said I would be." She nodded, something like approval flickering in her eyes. "Come on in." The inside of the restaurant was warm and smelled like cinnamon and fresh bread. Small tables lined the walls, each one set with simple white dishes and mason jars filled with wildflowers. The kitchen was visible through a wide opening in the back, all stainless steel and organized chaos. A woman stood at the stove, older, with graying hair pulled back in a bun. She looked up when Ethan entered, her eyes sharp and assessing. "This is Chef Rosa," Leah said. "She's my mentor and my friend." Rosa wiped her hands on a towel. "So you're the one." "Rosa?" Leah's voice carried a warning. "What? I'm just saying." Rosa looked at Ethan. "You hurt her." "I know." Ethan met her gaze. "But I didn't mean to, and I'm here to make it right." Rosa studied him for a long moment, then grunted. "We'll see." Another woman appeared from the kitchen, the one who'd answered the door last night. She was younger, maybe mid-20s, with an easy smile. I'm Mara, sous chef and general troublemaker. She looked at Leah. They're upstairs finishing breakfast. Leah nodded. She turned to Ethan. Before we go up, you need to understand something. They're 3 years old. They don't understand complicated adult stuff. I told them their daddy was far away, but that he loved them. That's what they know. Okay. And if this is too much for you, if you realize you can't do this, you need to tell me now, not later, because I won't let you break their hearts. The fierceness in her voice made his chest ache. She was protecting them, like she'd been protecting them all along. I'm not going anywhere, he said quietly. She searched his face, then nodded. Follow me. The apartment above the restaurant was small but bright. Sunlight poured through the windows. Toys were scattered across the living room floor, blocks, stuffed animals, coloring books. A tiny table sat in the corner with 2 chairs, crayon drawings taped to the wall above it. This was their home, the place Leah had built for them. Noah and Nora sat at the small kitchen table, plates of pancakes in front of them. Nora had syrup on her chin. Noah was carefully cutting his pancake into tiny pieces. They looked up when Leah and Ethan walked in. "Daddy!" Nora shouted, dropping her fork. She scrambled out of her chair and ran to him. Ethan knelt down just in time. She crashed into him, her small arms wrapping around his neck. She smelled like syrup and soap and something sweet he couldn't name. "Hi, sweetheart," he said, his voice thick. She pulled back and looked at him seriously. "You came back?" "Yeah, I came back." Noah watched from the table, his eyes wide and careful. He didn't move. Leah walked over and crouched beside him. "Noah, this is your daddy. Remember we talked about him?" Noah nodded slowly. "Do you want to say hi?" Noah looked at Ethan for a long moment. Then quietly he said, "Hi." "Hi, Noah." Ethan's throat was tight. "It's really nice to meet you." Nora grabbed Ethan's hand and pulled. "Come see my drawing." She dragged him to the wall where the pictures were taped. Most of them were wild scribbles of color, but one caught his eye. A family, 4 stick figures. A tall one, a shorter one with curly hair, and 2 tiny ones holding hands. "That's us," Nora said proudly. "Me and Noah and Mama and you." Ethan stared at the drawing. "It's beautiful. I made you tall." "I see that." "Thank you." Noah appeared beside them, moving quietly like a shadow. He held up a toy car. "This is my favorite." Ethan knelt down again. "That's a cool car. What kind is it?" "Red." Ethan smiled. "Red is the best color for cars." Noah's serious face broke into a small smile. Leah watched from the kitchen, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable. But Ethan could see the way her shoulders had relaxed just a little. They spent the morning together. Ethan sat on the floor and played blocks with Noah, who was quiet but focused, building careful towers. Nora talked non-stop, telling him about her stuffed elephant and her favorite color, purple, and how she could count to 20, though she skipped 14. Leah made more coffee and sat at the table watching. Every now and then she'd answer one of Nora's questions or help Noah find a missing block, but mostly she just watched. Around 10 o'clock, Mara called up from downstairs. "Leah, delivery's here." Leah stood. "I have to go deal with this. You okay here?" Ethan looked up. "Yeah, we're good." She hesitated, then nodded and went downstairs. As soon as she was gone, Nora climbed into Ethan's lap. "Are you staying forever now?" The question hit him like a punch. "I want to. Is that okay with you?" "Yes." She threw her arms around his neck again. Noah looked up from his blocks. "Mama cries sometimes at night." Ethan's chest tightened. "She does?" "Yeah. She's quiet, but I hear her." Nora nodded. "She says she's okay, but she's sad." Ethan had to look away. He blinked hard, his eyes burning. "I'm going to try to make her happy again," he said quietly. "I promise." Noah studied him with those serious eyes. Then he picked up a blue block and handed it to Ethan. "You can help with the tower." It was such a small gesture, but it felt like trust. Ethan took the block. "I'd like that." When Leah came back upstairs, she found Ethan and the twins building an elaborate tower that covered half the living room floor. Nora was directing everyone like a tiny architect. Noah was carefully placing each block. Ethan was laughing at something Nora said. Leah stopped in the doorway, her heart doing something painful and complicated in her chest. This was what she'd wanted, what she'd dreamed about in those first awful months after she'd left. Ethan with their children, a family. But it hurt too, because it reminded her of everything they'd lost. "Mama!" Nora waved. "And look how tall." "I see it. It's amazing." The tower wobbled. Noah gasped. Ethan reached out and steadied it just in time. "Nice save," Leah said. He looked up at her. and something passed between them, something old and familiar and dangerous. She looked away. It's almost lunchtime. You two need to wash your hands. Can Daddy stay for lunch? Nora asked. Leah hesitated. This was happening too fast. She'd expected to let him visit for an hour, maybe two. Not the whole morning, not lunch. But when she looked at Noah, she saw how relaxed he was. Noah didn't relax around strangers. Ever. If he wants to, she said carefully. Ethan stood. I'd love to. Lunch was grilled cheese and tomato soup. Simple, easy, the kind of meal that felt like home. The twins chattered through the whole thing, telling Ethan about their favorite TV show and the park they went to, and the cat that lived in the alley behind the restaurant. Leah stayed quiet, but she watched everything. The way Ethan cut Nora's sandwich into triangles without being asked, the way he listened to Noah's quiet questions and answered them seriously, the way he looked at them like they were the most important thing in the world. After lunch, Nora yawned. Nap time, Leah said. But I'm not tired, Nora protested, even as her eyes drooped. Come on, baby. Leah lifted her out of the chair. You can play more later. Noah followed without argument, his hand reaching for Leah's. I'll be right back, Leah said to Ethan. He nodded and started clearing the table. When Leah came back 15 minutes later, the dishes were washed and drying in the rack. Ethan was wiping down the table. You didn't have to do that, she said. I wanted to help. She leaned against the counter, suddenly exhausted. The morning had been so much, watching him with the twins, seeing how easily they'd taken to him, remembering how much she'd loved him once. Still loved him, if she was honest. Thank you, she said quietly, for being good with them. They're incredible. His voice was soft. You did an amazing job. I did my best. It was more than enough. They stood there in the quiet kitchen, the afternoon sun slanting through the windows. I need to tell you something, Ethan said. I ended things with Sophie. Leah's stomach dropped. Ethan, it wasn't fair to her. After yesterday, after everything, I couldn't. He stopped. She deserves someone who loves her completely, and I don't. I can't, because of the twins, because of you. The words hung in the air between them. Leah shook her head. Don't do that. Do what? Say things like that. Like we can just go back to how it was. I'm not saying that. I know too much has happened. Too much time has passed. He stepped closer. But I'm saying I never stopped. Never moved on. Not really. You were about to marry someone else. I was trying to. I was trying so hard to build the life my father wanted, to be the person everyone expected me to be, but it was all wrong. His voice cracked. You were the only thing that was ever right. Leah felt tears burn her eyes. You hurt me. I know. I waited for you. For weeks. I thought you'd come. I thought you'd find me. A tear slipped down her cheek. But you never did. Because I didn't know. Leah, I swear, if I'd known, but you didn't know. And I was alone. Pregnant and scared and completely alone. I'm sorry. He was close now. Close enough that she could see the pain in his eyes. I'm so sorry. She wanted to be angry, wanted to push him away, but she was so tired of carrying all of this by herself. I don't know if I can trust you again, she whispered. Then let me earn it. However long it takes. She looked at him, really looked at him, the man she'd fallen for 4 years ago, the man who'd broken her heart without meaning to, the man who was the father of her children. This isn't about us, she said finally. This is about Noah and Nora. They need you. I won't keep you from them. I know, but Leah... No. She stepped back. Right now it's about them. That's all I can handle. He nodded slowly. Okay, whatever you need. You can come back tomorrow. Same time, if you want. I want to. Good. She wrapped her arms around herself. You should go. I have to get ready for the dinner service. He didn't argue. He just picked up his jacket and walked to the door. But before he left, he turned back. I meant what I said last night. You're still everything to me. Then he was gone. Leah stood in the empty kitchen, her heart pounding, her eyes wet. This was dangerous. Letting him back in, letting herself hope. But when she thought about the way Noah had smiled at him, the way Nora had curled into his lap like she'd been doing it her whole life, maybe some things were worth the risk. That evening, Ethan sat in his car outside the Walker estate. He'd been sitting there for 20 minutes, staring at the house. Finally, he got out and walked to the door. His mother answered. Her eyes were red. Ethan. Is he here? She nodded and stepped aside. Tom was in his study, papers spread across the desk. He looked up when Ethan entered, his expression calm. Come to apologize? Tom asked. No. Ethan closed the door behind him. I came to tell you that I'm done. Done with what? With you. With this. He gestured around the room. With letting you control my life. Tom leaned back in his chair. Don't be dramatic. I met them today. My kids. Noah and Nora. Ethan's voice was steady now, calm. They're beautiful. They're smart. They're everything I didn't know I was missing. Ethan and Leah. She raised them alone because of what you did. She built a life for them with nothing. No help, no support, no one to lean on. And she did it because she thought I didn't want her. She was a mistake. She was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ethan's voice rose. And you took her from me. You took 3 years from me. You took my family. Tom stood. I did what any father would do. I protected you. You destroyed me. Ethan pulled an envelope from his pocket and dropped it on the desk. I'm resigning. From the restaurant, from the business, from all of it. I don't want your money. I don't want your name on anything I do. Tom's face went pale. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious. You'll fail. Without me. Without the family connections. Then I'll fail. Ethan met his father's eyes. But at least I'll fail being myself, not the man you tried to make me into. He turned and walked to the door. If you walk out now, Tom called after him, don't expect to come back. Ethan paused. Then, without turning around, he said, I won't. He left the house and didn't look back. 2 days later, Ethan showed up at Brooks and Hearth again, and the day after that, and the day after that. Each morning he brought something, fresh fruit from the market, a toy for the twins, flowers for the table. Each morning he played with Noah and Nora, learning their rhythms, their favorite games, their little quirks. Noah liked to be read to. He'd curl up beside Ethan on the couch with a picture book and follow along, his finger tracing the words he couldn't read yet. Nora liked to play pretend, elaborate stories about princesses and dragons that changed every 5 minutes. Leah watched it all, her guard slowly lowering. On the 5th morning, she spoke to him while the twins were coloring at the table. You're really committed to this. I told you I would be. Most men would have run. I'm not most men. She almost smiled. No, I guess you're not. That afternoon, she suggested something unexpected. There's a park nearby with a playground. The twins love it. If you want, you could come with us. His face lit up. Really? Don't make me regret it. The park was perfect. Big trees, soft grass, a playground with swings and slides and climbing structures. Noah and Nora took off running the second they arrived, heading straight for the swings. I got them! Ethan jogged after them. Leah followed more slowly, carrying a bag with snacks and water bottles. She found a bench in the shade and sat down, watching as Ethan pushed the twins on the swings. Nora shrieked with laughter. Higher, Daddy, higher! Noah's face was serious but content, his hands gripping the chains tightly. Ethan looked so natural with them, like he'd been doing this his whole life. A woman on the next bench leaned over. Your family is beautiful. Leah blinked. Oh, we're not. She stopped. Were they? Was that what this was becoming? The woman smiled. Your husband is great with them. He's not. Leah stopped again. It was easier not to explain. Thank you. After the swings, they moved to the climbing structure. Ethan stayed close, spotting Noah as he navigated the ladder, catching Nora when she jumped off the slide. Then the rain started. It came suddenly, the way summer storms do in the south. 1 minute the sky was clear, the next it was pouring. Come on! Leah grabbed the bag and ran toward a covered gazebo nearby. Ethan scooped up both twins, one in each arm, and sprinted after her. They huddled under the gazebo roof, breathless and laughing. The rain hammered down around them, turning everything into a grey blur. Nora giggled. We're all wet. Very wet, Ethan agreed. He set them down carefully, and they immediately ran to the edge of the gazebo to watch the rain. Leah wrung out her hair, shivering slightly. Well, that was unexpected. Ethan pulled off his jacket and draped it around her shoulders. Here, you'll get cold. I'm fine. Their eyes met. He was so close. Water dripped from his hair, and his shirt was soaked, clinging to his chest. He looked young suddenly, vulnerable, real. Thank you, she said softly, for today, for all of this. Thank you for letting me. The rain softened, turning into a gentle patter. Noah and Nora were giggling, trying to catch raindrops in their hands. They really like you, Leah said. I really like them. He paused. I love them. You just met them. I know, but I do. She believed him. She could see it in his eyes, in the way he looked at them. I never stopped loving you either, he said quietly. In case that wasn't clear, her breath caught. Ethan, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling you the truth. You're allowed to do whatever you want with it." She wanted to say it back. The words were right there, pressing against her lips. But she was scared. So scared. "I think the rain's stopping," she said instead. He nodded, something like disappointment flickering across his face. But he didn't push. "Yeah, we should probably get them home." They walked back to the restaurant together, the four of them, Noah and Nora skipping ahead, their laughter cutting through the damp air. And for just a moment, Leah let herself imagine what it might be like if this was real, if they were really a family, if love really did get a second chance. The next 2 weeks fell into a rhythm that felt almost too good to be real. Ethan showed up every morning at 7. He'd help with breakfast, play with the twins, read stories, build towers, answer endless questions from Nora, and listen to Noah's quiet observations. Then he'd leave before lunch, giving Leah space to run her restaurant and be with her children. But slowly, the visits got longer. He started staying for lunch. Then he'd help clean up. Then he'd stick around for the afternoon, playing in the small courtyard behind the restaurant while Leah prepped for dinner service. Chef Rosa watched it all with sharp eyes. One afternoon, while Ethan was outside with the twins, she cornered Leah in the kitchen. "You're falling for him again." Leah didn't look up from the vegetables she was chopping. "I'm just letting him be a father." Rosa wiped down the counter. "And that's why you smile every time he walks in? That's why you put on the nice earrings this morning?" Leah's knife paused. "I always wear earrings. Not the pearl ones." Rosa's voice softened. "Baby girl, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying be careful. You've got more than just your heart on the line now." "I know. Do you? Because those babies are already attached. If he walks away, he won't." The words came out fierce, certain. "I know what you're thinking, but this is different. He's different now." Rosa studied her. "What changed?" Leah set down the knife. "He quit his father's business. Did I tell you that?" "No. He walked away from everything, the money, the connections, all of it." She looked out the window where Ethan was pushing Nora on a makeshift swing. "That takes courage. Or desperation. Maybe both." Leah turned back to her work. "But I think he means it this time. I think he's finally choosing what he wants instead of what everyone expects. And what he wants is you." Leah's hands stilled. "Yeah, I think so." Rosa was quiet for a moment. Then she reached over and squeezed Leah's shoulder. "Then I hope he deserves you. Because you deserve the world." That evening, after the dinner rush ended and the twins were in bed, Leah did something she hadn't done before. She called Ethan. He answered on the second ring. "Leah, is everything okay?" "Yeah, everything's fine. She paused, suddenly nervous. "Are you busy?" "No, just sitting here. Why?" "I was wondering if you wanted to come over. Not to see the twins. They're asleep. Just to talk." There was a beat of silence. Then, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. He made it in 8. Leah met him at the restaurant door. She'd changed out of her chef's coat into jeans and a soft sweater. Her hair was down, loose around her shoulders. "Hi," she said. "Hi." They stood there for a moment, suddenly awkward like teenagers. "Come on up," she said finally. The apartment was quiet. A single lamp glowed in the corner. Leah had made tea, chamomile, the way she always did when she needed to calm her nerves. They sat on the couch, careful to leave space between them. "So," Ethan said, "what did you want to talk about?" Leah wrapped her hands around her mug. "I've been thinking. About everything. About us." His expression was careful, hopeful. "Okay. The twins are getting attached to you. I see it. They talk about you all the time. Noah asked me yesterday if you were going to live with us. What did you tell him?" "I said I didn't know." She looked at him. "What's the plan here, Ethan? You keep showing up being wonderful with them, and that's great, but where does this go? Where do you want it to go?" "I asked first." He set down his coffee. "I want to be their father. Full-time. Not just visits, not just mornings. I want to be there for the hard stuff too. The tantrums and the doctor visits and the nights when they can't sleep. I want all of it." Her chest felt tight. "And what about me?" "I want you too." His voice was raw, honest. "I want to wake up next to you. I want to build something real with you. I want the life we should have had 4 years ago. That life doesn't exist anymore. Too much has happened. Then we build a new one." He shifted closer. "Leah, I know I hurt you. I know my father's lies cost us years we can't get back, but we're here now, we have a second chance, and I don't want to waste it." She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too. What if it doesn't work? What if we try and it falls apart and the twins get hurt? What if we don't try and spend the rest of our lives wondering what could have been?" He took her hand gently. I can't promise it'll be perfect, but I can promise I'll show up. Every day. No matter what. She looked down at their joined hands. His fingers were warm, familiar. I never stopped loving you either, she said quietly. I tried. After I left, I tried so hard to move on, but I couldn't. Leah, let me finish. She took a shaky breath. You were it for me, Ethan. You were the person I wanted to build a life with, and when I thought you didn't want me, it broke something inside me. It took a long time to put the pieces back together. I'm sorry. I know you are. She squeezed his hand. But I need you to understand what you're asking. I have children now. They come first, always. Before me, before you, before anything. I know, and that's exactly why I love you even more than I did before. Her eyes filled with tears. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not. He reached up and cupped her face gently. I'm making promises I'll spend the rest of my life keeping. And then he kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, like they were learning each other all over again. But then Leah melted into him, her hand curling into his shirt, and the kiss deepened. It tasted like tears and chamomile and 4 years of longing. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were breathing hard. Okay, Leah whispered. Okay, let's try. Let's build something new. The smile that spread across his face was like sunrise. The next morning, Ethan arrived at 7 like always. But this time, when Leah opened the door, she kissed him. Just a quick brush of lips, but it made him grin like a fool. Good morning, she said. Best morning ever. The twins came running. Daddy! Daddy! He scooped them both up, one in each arm, spinning them around until they shrieked with laughter. Guess what? Leah said. Daddy's going to start spending more time with us. Would you like that? Yes, Nora shouted. Noah nodded seriously. Can he stay for dinner? He can stay for dinner. And bedtime? Leah looked at Ethan. He looked back, his eyes soft. If you want me to, Ethan said. We want you to, Noah said firmly. So he stayed. They spent the day together, all 4 of them. Ethan helped Leah with breakfast while the twins set the table, poorly but enthusiastically. They went to the park again. They came back and made lunch together, the small kitchen crowded and chaotic and perfect. In the afternoon, while the twins napped, Ethan and Leah sat on the couch, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her. I have something to tell you, she said. Should I be worried? No, it's good, I think. She sat up slightly. I got a call yesterday. There's a food writer from Charleston magazine who wants to do a feature on the restaurant. Leah, that's amazing. It's terrifying. What if they hate it? What if I'm not ready? You're more than ready. Your food is incredible. The whole place is incredible. You have to say that. I don't have to say anything, it's true. He took her hand. You built this from nothing. You should be proud. She leaned into him again. I am. Scared, but proud. That's how you know it's worth it. That evening, something shifted in the Walker family. Ethan's mother, Patricia, drove to Brooks and Hearth alone. She'd never done anything alone, not in 30 years of marriage. Tom made all the decisions. Tom controlled everything. But that afternoon, she'd found the address written on a piece of paper in Ethan's old room, and she'd made a choice. She parked outside the restaurant just as Leah was flipping the sign to closed. Patricia sat in the car for a full 5 minutes, gathering her courage. Then she got out and knocked on the door. Leah opened it, surprised. Mrs. Walker, please, call me Patricia. The older woman's voice was soft, uncertain. May I come in? Leah hesitated, then stepped aside. Of course. They sat at one of the small tables. Patricia's hands trembled slightly as she folded them in her lap. I came to apologize, she said. Leah blinked. I don't understand. For what my husband did, for what I allowed him to do. Patricia's eyes were wet. I knew he was controlling. I knew he manipulated people, but I told myself it was just his way, that he meant well. Mrs. Walker, Patricia, please. Patricia, Leah said gently, you don't owe me an apology. You didn't do anything. That's exactly the problem. I didn't do anything. A tear slipped down Patricia's cheek. When Ethan came home that first time talking about you, I saw how happy he was, truly happy, in a way I'd never seen. And when you disappeared, I saw him break. But I didn't ask questions. I didn't push Tom for answers. I just stayed quiet like I always do. Leah reached across the table and took the older woman's hand. It's not too late, isn't it? I've lost 4 years with my grandchildren. I don't even know them. Then get to know them now. Patricia looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. Could I? Would you let me? They're upstairs, come on. Noah and Nora were cautious at first, but Patricia was gentle, patient. She sat on the floor with them and let them show her their toys. She admired Nora's drawings. She listened to Noah explain his favorite book, and slowly they warmed to her. When Ethan arrived an hour later for dinner, he stopped in the doorway, shocked. "Mum?" Patricia stood, her hands twisting together nervously. "I hope I'm not intruding." "You're not." He crossed the room and hugged her, really hugged her tight and long. "I'm glad you're here. Your father doesn't know I came." "Good." Over dinner, Leah's famous chicken and rice with vegetables, Patricia asked questions about the twins, about the restaurant, about Leah's life. She listened more than she talked, soaking in every detail like she was trying to make up for lost time. As they were clearing the dishes, she pulled Ethan aside. "She's wonderful," Patricia whispered. "And those children, Ethan, they're perfect." "I know. Don't let your father ruin this again." "I won't. I promise." Patricia hugged him again, then turned to Leah. "Thank you for letting me come and for raising such beautiful children. You're a remarkable woman." Leah's throat felt tight. "Thank you, that means a lot." After Patricia left, Ethan helped Leah with the twins' bedtime routine. He read Noah a story while Leah tucked in Nora. Then they switched. When both children were finally asleep, Ethan and Leah stood in the doorway, watching them breathe softly in the dim nightlight glow. "Your mom is lovely," Leah said. "She is, when she's allowed to be herself. Do you think she'll be okay? With your father, I mean." "I hope so." He slipped his arm around her waist. "But that's her choice to make. I can't fix their marriage. I can only fix mine." She looked up at him. "We're not married. Not yet." Her heart stuttered. "Ethan, I'm not proposing, not tonight." He pulled her closer. "But I'm thinking about it. All the time." She rested her head against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "One step at a time." "One step at a time," he agreed, but not everyone was ready to let go. 3 days later, an envelope appeared on the doorstep of Brooks and Hearth. Mara found it when she arrived for her morning shift. "Leah, there's something here for you." Leah came downstairs, wiping flour from her hands. She opened the envelope. Inside was a cashier's check for $200,000 and a typed note on expensive stationery. "This should be more than enough to relocate and start fresh somewhere else. You've made your point. Now it's time to think about what's best for everyone, especially the children. Take the money and leave Charleston. It's the right thing to do." There was no signature, but Leah didn't need one. She knew exactly who'd sent it. Her hands shook. The check fluttered to the floor. "Leah?" Rosa appeared from the kitchen. "What's wrong?" Leah couldn't speak. She just handed Rosa the note. Rosa read it, her face darkening. "That son of a—" "I have to go." Leah grabbed her keys. "And where?" "To Ethan's. He needs to know his father is still trying to control everything." But her mind was spinning. Was it Ethan? Had he changed his mind? Was this his way of paying her off without having to say it to her face? No, he wouldn't do that. But 4 years ago, she'd believed a letter that said he didn't want her. What if she was wrong again? She drove to Ethan's apartment, the envelope clutched in her hand. She pounded on the door. He opened it, hair messy, barefoot, clearly just awake. "Leah, what's wrong?" She shoved the envelope at him. "Is this from you?" He took it, confused. He pulled out the check and the note and his face went white. "No, God, no, Leah, I would never—" "How do I know that?" Her voice broke. "How do I know this isn't just like last time? Your father pays me off and you act innocent?" "Because I'm not lying." He grabbed her shoulders gently. "Leah, look at me. I didn't send this. I didn't know anything about it." "Then who did?" "My father. It has to be. Or you're working together again." "I'm not, I swear on everything, on the twins, on us. I had nothing to do with this." She wanted to believe him, but the fear was too strong, the old wounds too fresh. "I can't do this," she whispered. "I can't risk the twins. I can't risk my heart again. Leah, please. I'm leaving Charleston." The words came out flat, final. "I'm taking Noah and Nora somewhere he can't find us. Somewhere we can be safe. You are safe. With me." "Am I?" Tears streamed down her face. "Because it doesn't feel safe. It feels like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for you to decide this is too hard, or your family is more important, or—" "You're my family." His voice cracked. "You and Noah and Nora. You're everything." "Words, Ethan. They're just words." "Then let me prove it." He grabbed his phone. "I'm calling my father right now. You can listen." He dialed, put it on speaker. Tom answered on the 3rd ring. "Ethan, this is early. Did you send Leah money? A check for $200,000. Silence. Then, carefully, "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me." "I'm not lying. I haven't contacted her." But something in his voice, some small hesitation, gave him away. Ethan's jaw clenched. "You had someone else do it. Your assistant, your lawyer. I don't care who, but it came from you. Ethan, be reasonable. That woman is going to drain you. She's already got her hooks in you with those children. Those children are your grandchildren. They're a mistake that should have been handled 4 years ago." Leah felt like she'd been slapped. Ethan's voice went cold. "You've lost me. Forever. I hope you understand that. I hope you realize that your need for control cost you your son." He hung up. Then he threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and shattered. Leah stood there, shaking. Ethan turned to her, his eyes wet. "I'm done with him completely. No more chances, no more trying to fix it. He's gone. Ethan, and if you need to leave Charleston, I'll come with you. I'll leave everything behind, the restaurant, the city, all of it. Wherever you go, I go." She stared at him. "You'd do that?" "In a heartbeat. What about your business? Your life here? You're my life, you and the twins." He stepped closer, his voice desperate. "Please don't run. Please give me a chance to prove this is real." She looked at him, really looked, at the pain in his eyes, the determination, the love, and she made a choice. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay? I'll stay. We'll stay." She touched his face. "But Ethan, if your father tries anything else, he won't get the chance. I'll make sure of it." He pulled her into his arms, and she let herself break down. All the fear, all the doubt, all the weight she'd been carrying for 4 years, it poured out of her, and he held her through all of it. "I've got you," he murmured into her hair. "I've got you, and I'm not letting go." The next morning, Leah woke up on Ethan's couch. Sunlight streamed through the windows. She sat up, disoriented for a moment, then remembered. The envelope, the confrontation, the choice to stay. Ethan appeared from the kitchen with 2 mugs of coffee. "Morning. What time is it?" 7:30. "I called Rosa. She's with the twins. They're fine." Leah took the coffee gratefully. "I should get back to them." "In a minute." He sat beside her. "I have an idea, something that might help." "What?" "There's a food event tonight, a big one. Local chefs, food writers, people from all over Charleston. I think you should showcase your restaurant there." "Ethan, I can't just—" "Yes, you can. I already called the organizer. She's a friend. She said there's a spot available if you want it." Leah stared at him. "You did what?" "I know it's last minute, and I know you're scared. But Leah, your food is incredible. People need to taste it. They need to know about Brooks and Hearth." He took her hand. "And if my father wants to run you out of town, the best response is to plant yourself so deep he can't move you." She was quiet for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. "Okay, let's do it." His face lit up. "Really? Really? But I'm going to need help. You've got me, and Rosa, and Mara. We'll make this happen." The rest of the day was chaos. Leah rushed back to Brooks and Hearth and immediately started planning. Rosa helped her choose the menu, her famous shrimp and grits, her honey-glazed ribs, her peach cobbler that made people cry. Mara handled the logistics, packing supplies and coordinating transportation. The twins, sensing the energy, ran around asking a million questions. "Where are you going, Mama? Are we coming? Can we help?" Ethan knelt down to their level. "Your Mama is going to show everyone how amazing she is. And you know what? You two can be her good luck charms." "What's that?" Nora asked. "It means you make good things happen just by being you." Nora beamed. Noah looked skeptical but pleased. "Can we come watch?" Noah asked. Leah hesitated. It would be late, crowded, but when she saw their hopeful faces, she couldn't say no. "Yes, you can come, but you have to stay with Daddy the whole time, okay?" "Okay," they chorused. By 6 o'clock, they arrived at the venue, a beautiful historic building downtown with high ceilings and exposed brick. Vendors were setting up booths everywhere. The smell of food filled the air. Barbecue, fresh bread, spices, chocolate. Leah felt her stomach twist with nerves. "You've got this," Ethan said quietly, squeezing her hand. They set up their booth. Rosa worked the grill while Leah plated dishes with shaking hands. Mara handled the front, greeting people with her infectious energy. The twins sat at a small table behind the booth, coloring quietly. Well, Noah colored quietly. Nora kept jumping up to see what was happening. At 7 o'clock, the doors opened. People flooded in. At first, they passed by Leah's booth. Brooks and Hearth wasn't a known name yet. They went to the established restaurants, the popular chefs. Leah's heart sank. But then Ethan did something unexpected. He stepped in front of the booth, still holding Noah's hand, and called out, "Excuse me, can I have everyone's attention for just a second?" A few people stopped, then more. "My name is Ethan Walker. Some of you might know my family's restaurants." A murmur went through the crowd. The Walker name carried weight in Charleston. "But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the best chef in this city. Her name is Leah Brooks, and if you don't try her food tonight, you're making a huge mistake." Leah's face went hot. "Ethan, she's brilliant, she's innovative, and she cooks with more heart than anyone I've ever met." He looked back at her, his eyes soft. "Give her a chance, that's all I'm asking." For a moment, nothing happened. Then someone stepped forward, a woman with a notebook. "I'll try it." Then another person, and another. Suddenly, there was a line. Leah's hands flew. She plated shrimp and grits, ribs, sides, desserts. Rosa kept the grill going, flames leaping. Mara handed out samples with a smile, and the reactions were everything Leah had dreamed of. "Oh my God, this is incredible. Where has this place been?" "I'm coming to your restaurant tomorrow." The woman with the notebook, it turned out she was the food writer from Charleston magazine, ate 3 servings and took pages of notes. By 9 o'clock, they'd run out of food. People were still lined up, disappointed. "Sorry," Mara called out. "We're all out, but come visit us at Brooks and Hearth downtown." As the crowd dispersed, Leah sank onto a chair, exhausted and exhilarated. Ethan sat beside her, Noah and Nora climbing into his lap. "You did it. We did it." She looked at him. "Thank you for believing in me. Always." The food writer approached, her card in hand. "Ms. Brooks, I'd love to schedule an interview and a full photo shoot at your restaurant." Leah took the card with trembling fingers. "Yes, absolutely, thank you." As the woman walked away, Rosa clapped Leah on the shoulder. "You see, I told you you were ready." Mara was practically bouncing. "This is huge. We're going to be packed tomorrow." Leah laughed, tears in her eyes. For the first time in 4 years, she felt like maybe, just maybe, everything was going to be okay. That night, after they'd packed up and driven home, Leah tucked the twins into bed. They were so tired they could barely keep their eyes open. "Mama," Nora mumbled. "Yeah, baby? You were the best chef there. You're biased." "What's bias?" Leah smiled. "It means you love me, so you think I'm the best. But you are the best. Go to sleep, sweetheart." In the other bed, Noah was already out, his thumb in his mouth, his stuffed bear tucked under his arm. Leah kissed both their foreheads and turned off the light. In the living room, Ethan was cleaning up, putting away toys and straightening cushions. "You don't have to do that," Leah said. "I want to." He set down the last toy and turned to her. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Move in with me." She blinked. "What?" "Move in with me, you and the twins. My apartment is bigger than this place. There's room for everyone, and I—" He took a breath. "I don't want to do this halfway anymore. I want to wake up with you. I want to be there for the midnight wake-ups and the morning chaos and all of it." "Ethan, that's a big step." "I know, but we've already lost so much time. I don't want to waste any more." She looked around the small apartment, the home she'd built for her children. It was safe, familiar, but it was also lonely. "What about your father?" she asked. "What if he keeps trying to interfere? Then we'll handle it. Together." He stepped closer. "Leah, I meant what I said yesterday. Wherever you go, I go. But I'd really like it if where we went was the same place." She felt tears prick her eyes. "This is crazy." "Yeah, it is. The twins will make a mess of your nice apartment." "Good. It needs some life in it." I snore. "I don't care. I'm terrified." "Me too." She laughed through her tears. "Okay. Okay? Yes. We'll move in. But I'm keeping my apartment above the restaurant too. Just in case." "Just in case what?" "Just in case I need a place to hide when you drive me crazy." He grinned and pulled her into his arms. "Deal." They kissed, slow and deep, and for the first time in 4 years, Leah felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. The next 3 weeks were a whirlwind. The Charleston magazine article came out, and it was glowing. The photo of Leah in her kitchen, laughing while the twins played at her feet, made the cover. Reservations at Brooks and Hearth exploded. They were booked solid for 2 months. Leah had to hire more staff. Ethan helped with the business side, managing schedules, handling vendors, organizing the chaos. And true to his word, they moved in together. Ethan's apartment transformed. Toys appeared in corners. Children's books lined the shelves. Crayon drawings covered the refrigerator. Noah and Nora adjusted quickly. They each got their own room, which they decorated with Ethan's help. Noah chose blue walls and glow-in-the-dark stars. Nora chose purple everything. Every morning they ate breakfast together. Every evening they had dinner as a family. On weekends they went to the park or the beach or just stayed home and played. It felt like the life Leah had always dreamed of but never thought she'd have. But there was still one shadow hanging over them: Tom Walker. One morning, Patricia called Ethan. "I need to talk to you," she said. Her voice was shaking. "Can you come over? Is everything okay? Just come, please." Ethan found his mother sitting in the garden behind the Walker estate. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Mom?" He sat beside her. "What happened?" "I'm leaving your father." Ethan's breath caught. "What? I can't do this anymore. The control, the manipulation, the coldness. I've spent 30 years being silent, and I'm done." She looked at him. "Seeing you with Leah and those children, seeing what real love looks like, it made me realize what I've been missing." "Mum, are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." She squeezed his hand. "I'm proud of you, for choosing love, for choosing them. Where will you go?" "I'm renting a small house downtown. Something simple, something mine." She smiled through her tears. "And I was hoping maybe I could see my grandchildren more often. They'd love that. We all would." Patricia hugged him tightly. "Thank you for showing me it's never too late to start over." But Tom wasn't done fighting. 2 days after Patricia moved out, he showed up at Brooks and Hearth. It was mid-afternoon, between lunch and dinner. Leah was in the kitchen prepping for the evening. The twins were upstairs napping. Rosa answered the door. "We're closed." "I'm here to see Miss Brooks." Tom's voice was cold, imperious. "She doesn't want to see you. I think she'll make an exception." Leah appeared, wiping her hands on a towel. "It's okay, Rosa, I'll handle this." She stepped outside, closing the door behind her. She didn't want the twins to wake up and see this. "Mr. Walker." "Miss Brooks." He looked her up and down like she was something distasteful. "I came to make you one final offer. I'm not interested. $500,000, cash. Take it and leave Charleston. Leave my son alone." Leah laughed, a bitter, angry sound. "You really don't get it, do you? I get that you're using him. Using those children to manipulate your way into my family." "Your family?" Her voice rose. "Your son chose me. Your grandchildren are upstairs right now, napping in beds your son bought them. Your wife left you because she finally saw what you really are." Tom's face went red. "How dare you? How dare I?" Leah stepped forward. She wasn't scared anymore. "You tried to destroy me. You lied to your son. You kept him from his children. And now you're standing here trying to buy me off like I'm some kind of problem to be solved. You are a problem. No, I'm the woman who loves your son. I'm the mother of his children, and I'm not going anywhere." Tom's jaw clenched. "You're making a mistake. The only mistake was believing your lies 4 years ago. I won't make that mistake again." She turned and walked back inside, slamming the door behind her. Through the window she watched him stand there for a long moment, his face twisted with anger. Then he got in his car and drove away. Leah's hands were shaking. Rosa put an arm around her. "You did good, baby girl. Real good." That evening, Leah told Ethan what happened. He sat quietly, listening, his face unreadable. When she finished, he stood and walked to the window. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry he keeps doing this. It's not your fault. I know. But," he turned back to her, "I need to end this completely. No more chances, no more hoping he'll change." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to talk to a lawyer. I'm going to make sure he has no legal claim to our lives. And I'm going to make it clear that if he ever comes near you or the twins again, there will be consequences." Leah crossed the room and took his hands. "Are you sure? He's still your father. He stopped being my father the moment he chose control over love." Ethan's voice was firm. "My family is you. It's Noah and Nora. It's my mum who finally found the courage to leave. That's who matters." She kissed him softly. "I love you. I love you too." 3 weeks later, on a warm Saturday morning, Ethan woke up before everyone else. He made coffee quietly, then sat on the balcony watching the sun rise over Charleston. Today was the day. He'd been planning this for weeks. He had the ring, a simple band with a small diamond, nothing flashy. He had the place picked out. He had Rosa and Mara and even Patricia in on the plan. He just hoped Leah would say yes. Inside, he heard small footsteps. Noah appeared in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "Daddy? Hey, buddy, you're up early." Noah climbed into his lap. "Where's Mama?" "Still sleeping. Want to help me make breakfast for her?" "Okay." They made pancakes together. Well, Ethan made pancakes while Noah helped by pouring chocolate chips everywhere. Nora woke up halfway through and insisted on adding whipped cream to everything. By the time Leah emerged, Yawning and beautiful in one of Ethan's t-shirts, the kitchen was a disaster. "What's all this?" she asked. "We made you breakfast," Nora announced proudly. "It might be a little messy," Ethan admitted. Leah laughed. "I love it." They ate together, chocolate chips and whipped cream and all. Then Ethan checked his watch. "Hey, I have an idea. Let's go to the beach." "The beach?" Leah looked skeptical. "Right now." "Why not? It's a beautiful day. The twins love it. Come on." She agreed, though she gave him a suspicious look. "You're being weird." "I'm always weird." "True." They arrived at the beach just before noon. The sun was bright, the water sparkling, but when they walked down to the sand, Leah stopped. There was a setup there, a simple canopy, some chairs, flowers in jars, and a small group of people waiting. Rosa, Mara, Patricia, Marcus, even some of their friends from the neighborhood. "Ethan," Leah's voice was shaking. "What is this?" He took her hands. Noah and Nora stood beside them, grinning like they were in on the secret. 4 years ago, I was supposed to marry someone I liked but didn't love, and you crashed that wedding because you were brave enough to fight for what was right." He smiled. "Now I'm crashing our beach day because I can't wait another second." He dropped to one knee. Leah gasped, tears already streaming down her face. "Leah Brooks, you're the strongest, most incredible person I've ever known. You're an amazing mother. You're a brilliant chef. You're the love of my life." He pulled out the ring. "Will you marry me? For real this time?" Leah was sobbing now. "Yes. Yes, of course, yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into his arms. She kissed him while everyone cheered. Noah and Nora jumped around them shouting, "Mama and Daddy are getting married." Rosa was crying. Patricia was crying. Even Marcus, tough and stoic, looked a little misty. "I love you," Leah whispered against Ethan's lips. "I love you too, forever." They got married 3 weeks later. It was a small ceremony, just close friends and family. They held it on the same beach where he'd proposed. Leah wore a simple white dress, her feet bare, her hair loose in the ocean breeze. Noah and Nora walked down the aisle first, carrying the rings on small pillows. Patricia sat in the front row, beaming. When Ethan saw Leah walking toward him, he started crying. She laughed through her own tears. "Don't make me cry before we even start." Too late. The ceremony was short and sweet. They wrote their own vows. Ethan spoke first. "I promise to show up every day, to love you through the hard stuff and the good stuff, to be the partner you deserve and the father our children need. No lies, no walls, no fear. Just us. Always." Leah's voice shook. "I promise to trust you, to choose us, even when I'm scared, to build this life with you, one honest moment at a time. You're my home. You always have been." They kissed as the waves crashed behind them, and the small crowd erupted in cheers. Noah and Nora ran to them, wrapping their arms around their legs, and Ethan scooped them both up. "We're a family," he said, looking at Leah. "We're a family," she agreed. 6 months later, Leah stood in the kitchen of Brooks and Hearth, looking around at the restaurant she'd built from nothing. It was thriving now. The reviews were incredible. They'd been featured in 3 magazines. There was talk of opening a second location, but more than that, it felt like home. Ethan appeared in the doorway. "Ready?" "Almost. Just saying goodbye. We're only going away for a week." "I know, but still." Rosa poked her head in from the kitchen. "Go. Mara and I have everything under control. You deserve a honeymoon." "Thank you, Rosa, for everything." "Thank me by coming back relaxed and happy." Patricia was upstairs with Noah and Nora. They were going to stay with her for the week, a chance for grandmother and grandchildren to bond. Leah hugged them both tightly. "Be good for Grandma, okay?" "We will," they promised. Nora grabbed Ethan's hand. "Bring me back a present?" "The best present ever," he promised. Noah hugged him fiercely. "Love you, Daddy." "Love you too, buddy." They drove out of Charleston as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Leah looked over at Ethan, his hand on the steering wheel, the wedding ring glinting in the light. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "How lucky I am. How different my life could have been." "Our life," he corrected gently. "Our life," she smiled. "I spent so long being angry. At your father, at the situation, at everything. But you know what? If none of that had happened, we wouldn't be here now. Noah and Nora wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have learned how strong we are. I'd still go back and change it if I could. I know, but we can't. All we can do is move forward." He reached over and took her hand. "Then let's move forward. Together." "Together," she agreed. As they drove into their future, The past fell away behind them, all the pain, all the lies, all the years they'd lost. What remained was simple and true. Love, family, second chances, and the promise that this time nothing would tear them apart. They'd fought too hard to get here, and they were finally, beautifully home. 2 years later, Brooks and Hearth had expanded to 2 locations. Leah had published a cookbook. Noah and Nora were in kindergarten, thriving and happy. Tom Walker had tried to reach out twice. Both times, Ethan had declined. Some bridges once burned weren't meant to be rebuilt. But Patricia was a constant presence, a loving grandmother who showed up for every birthday, every school event, every family dinner. On a quiet Sunday morning, Leah sat in the kitchen of their home, watching through the window as Ethan played in the backyard with Noah and Nora. They were building a garden together, planting tomatoes and herbs. She placed a hand on her stomach, feeling the flutter of new life there. They hadn't told anyone yet, but soon. The door opened and Ethan came in, dirty and grinning. "The twins want to know if we can plant flowers that smell like chocolate." "I don't think those exist." "That's what I said. But Nora insists we can invent them." Leah laughed. "She gets that from you, always believing the impossible." He kissed her forehead. "Speaking of impossible, look at us. We made it. We did. I love you. I love you too." Through the window, Noah and Nora waved, calling for their parents to come back outside. And as Leah and Ethan walked hand in hand into the sunlight, into the life they'd built together from broken pieces and second chances, one truth remained. Love, real love, doesn't erase the past. It redeems it, one honest moment at a time. The end.